All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nav. I'll be your host for this week's HeyGen product demo. I'm excited to walk you through everything that's the latest and greatest in our platform today. Before we jump into the product, I'm going to kick things off with just a couple of slides, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. We're going to set the stage with a brief overview about the presentation for today. This is going to cover a couple of different aspects of our platform. I'm going to walk you through our AI studio, how to create an avatar video. We'll jump into video translation, and then we'll touch upon interactive avatar, which is really our third kind of major video product category. That one is a little bit more API and developer focused. So we'll just touch on that one where you can learn more about it. But I'm happy to kick things off with a quick overview, and I'll set the stage. For those of you who are joining us from a stream, you can visit us at community.heygen.com to enter your questions into our chat, and I'll save a couple of minutes at the end of this presentation to answer as many of them as I can. For today's agenda, we're going to cover what is HeyGen, what is HeyGen Enterprise, and what are some of our different paid plans. What is a product overview of what we can do? We'll jump into avatar creation, our editing studio, translation, and interactive avatar. And finally, we'll take questions and answers. So we'll kick things off. What is HeyGen? It's the leading AI-powered video platform that enables businesses to create, translate, and transform video content faster and more reliably than ever before. So what this practically means is you're able to record or create an avatar from a photo and use text to bring that to life, to create a video to tell your story. So we'll see a couple of examples of this as we jump into the platform, but really what we're solving for here is the old way of producing video would mean scripting, casting, scouting your talent, producing it, then going into post-production and editing it. And then if you want to take that content to a new market, it involves localizing it and some reshoots. However, with HeyGen, we're really transforming the way that creators, individuals, brands can create their video content. Now you can go from a script to generating a video, and then you can go back and edit your script, generate a new one. So we really simplify how quickly you can create a video using our AI technology. And this is used by big brands like HubSpot to individuals who are trying to tell their story on social media or help build their businesses. So really, HeyGen's for everyone. So we're really transforming how you tell your story and, really giving you global reach, particularly if you haven't been able to connect with all the audiences you've intended to previously. So, what this practically means is if you're, in a region of the US, for example, like I am, but there's other languages that are also, present in your region, like Spanish here in San Francisco, and the Mission is quite popular. I'm able to quickly translate videos that I'm producing in English into Spanish to go and connect with new audiences and reach them in a way that I wasn't able to previously. So before we get into the product demo, I wanted to kind of just call out, if you're joining us from our gradual community at community.heygen.com, for the stream, you'll find a Q&A box in the top right corner. If you go ahead and submit your questions there, I'll be taking a look at them as we go through this demo and answering as many as I can. So we're going to jump right in. So that the HeyGen platform really consists of a couple of major areas. First is creating your custom avatar so that you can use it to tell your story. Of course, we also have a library of hundreds of avatars available for use that are stock avatars, if you will. You can also generate your own avatar with a prompt. So we make things very easy to get started. Once you have an avatar you want to leverage, you can jump into our AI editing studio, and we make it as easy as editing a PowerPoint slide. So it's really simple to get started to tell your first story on our platform. And once you have a video, or let's say you've already produced one, you can translate your video to reach new audiences. And then the final product category we'll touch upon today, but won't go too in depth into, we have separate demos for that, is our interactive avatar technology. It's basically connecting your avatar to an LLM. So that way you can have a two-way conversation with this video representation of you. So before we go too far, this presentation was just going to be a high level demo. We have a lot more resources available at our community at community.heygen.com. You can find resources, tutorials, certifications, upcoming meetups, workshops, our forums, and able to get started by connecting to other folks who are also on their AI visual storytelling journeys. So here's a couple of quick examples of avatars before we jump in and try creating our own and creating a video. You'll see there's the hyper realistic avatar, which is trained on 2 minutes of video footage. We used to have custom photo avatars that were trained on 10 to 15 photos. However, we'll show a bit of a demo on this today, but we now have Avatar 4, which lets you take one photo and you can turn that into a talking avatar video. And then finally, you can actually generate your own avatar using prompts like you see here in this final example. So we give you a lot of different options when you're just getting started, making it very easy to jump into the platform and create your first video or story. So some of the different ways that our customers are using HeyGen are across different areas of, I'd say the awareness funnel. So social media content, video ads, video newsletters, event marketing and promotions using personalized video invitations. We even see folks who are leveraging AI SDRs using our interactive avatar technology. So really, there's a lot of different applications for how you would leverage AI video at scale. And there's a lot of ways that brands are already leveraging video and looking for ways to create more of it. So this is just to give you an example of some of the different pieces that HeyGen could fit in. And here's a couple of customer examples that have used HeyGen successfully. So Trivago actually used HeyGen to localize their ads. So let's say you shoot them in English, but you want to go and take them to the French market or a German market. You can record your ad one time and then use HeyGen to translate it, making it a lot more cost effective to go and launch it in a new geo. So this is just one great marketing example I like to share. Sibelco's learning and development team also saves over $1,000 per minute of video now with HeyGen, using us to basically go back, edit training content, and transform it across their global teams. So we make this really, really cost effective to keep your training content up to date as regulations or compliance guidance changes. You can go ahead and make those updates in a matter of minutes, republish your video, and have it live the same day. So finally, the last example I'll share is Tomorrow.io actually uses HeyGen to scale a lot of their marketing content. So they're using HeyGen as a part of their video stack to help their CMO, Dan, be more of an evangelist for their brand. So they're using avatar video to help scale their social media content with a very small team and making it so that they can produce much more content than they were able to previously before. So with that, I'm actually going to jump right into HeyGen's platform. I'm going to stop screen sharing and switch over to my product demo screen. So give me just a second here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So if you're new to HeyGen and just getting started, you can sign up for free at heygen.com. When you sign in and get to your homepage, it'll look something like this, perhaps with less videos. And we're going to talk about a couple of different ways that you can get started. I'm really excited about our Avatar 4 technology, but we give you a lot of different ways that you can get started. So here's an example of me taking that same slide deck we were just looking at to auto-generate a script to create a video. And I'm going to play for you just a moment of that example right here.
Visual storytelling is now more accessible than ever, empowering individuals and businesses to convey messages effectively. With tools like HeyGen, users can create engaging content without needing advanced technical skills. This democratization of visual media fosters creativity and enhances communication across various platforms. HeyGen Enterprise offers robust solutions for businesses, enhancing video content creation with AI-driven tools.
So this is an example of an avatar video that I created using our product demo deck. So we make things really easy to get started. If you don't have a deck already to go, I'll show you another couple of ways, but you can basically go in, select create avatar video. And if you have a PowerPoint or a PDF file already, it needs to be currently 20 slides or less, but you can upload it here to auto-generate a script. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And It takes about a minute or so to get ready, but since I've already created one, I'm going to go ahead and show you just this draft example. So when you're creating a product demo with HeyGen, we can let you auto-generate a script. And if you do that, it'll go ahead and take the content on your slides, use our AI to come up with a script for each of the scenes. You're able to add or remove or choose your own custom avatar. So this is our AI studio that you're dropped into. It's not a blank canvas. If you're using one of these modes to create your first avatar video, it actually makes things a lot easier for getting started. It'll upload all of your slides as images. So if you want to make any changes to them, it's best to do that before you're using them to create your HeyGen video and uploading them in this way. You can animate transitions. You can set it as a background. You can have a lot of controls in terms of how you want this to look at the start of your video. For your avatars, we also give you a couple of different options. So like, let's say you don't want it to be in this circle view crop, you can make it a close-up of Annie at the center of your video, as easy as that. And you can also animate your avatar to fade in and transition. So we give you a couple of different controls when you're getting started for how you want your avatar to look and sound. We give you up to 300 different looks for each of your avatars. When you're recording your own custom avatar, particularly a hyper-realistic avatar, you'll have to record your consent. But once you do that, for this identity, you can upload additional video files, additional photos to create different looks for your avatar to use in different scenes. So you can see for our demo avatar Annie, we have a lot of different looks that we've enabled based on different shoots that we've done. So you can pick Annie in different scenes. If you pick Annie, let's say with background, we also give you an option to remove the background in our AI studio. So it's as simple as just selecting that, and you can adjust the framing again here to make this look right for the story that you're trying to tell. So a lot of different options here when you're creating your story. You'll notice in our text editor, there's a few other options. Let's say you don't quite like the sound that's coming out. You can
Visual
also,
storytelling is now more accessible than ever.
let's say I don't like exactly how that sounds. You can also use our voice director setting to now overlay your inflections or intonations to make it sound even more natural. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And you can give it a couple of different options. So I can say I want this to be very excited, apply it to the scene. And now when I play it, you'll notice the voice has changed. Give this just a second. The other thing that I'll call out here is that the lip sync will not fully be aligned until you hit generate. So when you're
Visual
seeing your
storytelling is
master
now
preview,
more accessible than ever, empowering individuals and businesses to convey messages effectively. With tools like HeyGen, users can create engaging content without needing advanced technical skills. This democratizes
so you can see that it's already, much more engaging when I select voice director mode and, give it some instructions in terms of how do I want this scene to sound. So it's really as simple as that to get started. HeyGen's AI Studio Editor gives you a lot of flexibility to do custom things. You can add shapes, frames, stickers, icons. You can even upload videos, music, and images just to, really help tell your story as you intend to. The other very powerful thing that I'll call out about HeyGen Studio is in the top left corner, we have something called brand kits, which lets you update your brand colors, your logos, your fonts, different images or videos that you might have. And you can, very easily shuffle to apply this to different scenes. And what this would do is, give you an ability to kind of control what is the background, what we want to be present in terms of look and feel and style and fonts for each of these scenes. So it's a very powerful feature for HeyGen. And it really gives you a lot more creative controls when you're making many videos and you want them to maintain certain elements of consistency. So the other key thing that I'll talk about a little bit right now, but we'll jump into more as we switch to translation portion of our platform, is our brand voice. So our brand voice lets you control how certain things are pronounced across different scenes throughout your video. So when you select a brand voice, and you can create multiple of them, it really helps you make sure certain things are pronounced in a certain way. You can also ensure certain things are translated or not translated in a certain way if you want to block them. Like, let's say your brand name should be pronounced a certain way each time. This might be something you don't want to translate, so you would include as a part of your brand voice. So a lot of flexibility and creative controls from this. The other thing that I'll call out here is, if you wanted to overlay your own voice for some reason, you can also upload audio or record audio directly in the AI Studio. So we give a lot of flexibility and controls, um, including collaboration. So if you also were collaborating with a team member, wanted them to come in here and review this, I could say, here, I'll tag myself, Nav, check this out, and leave a comment for myself to come back to. So we make this really easy to collaborate with team members with a lot more functionality and improvements coming. So a lot of ways that you can leverage this platform. If you can also, change the aspect ratio. If you don't want this to be in landscape, you can switch it to portrait. Something you may want to consider depending on how you're starting to create your video, but there's a lot of controls when you're just getting started, and you can also save this as a template. If once you've worked on it, you really like it and want to make variants of this, you can find other tutorials, leave feedback for our team. We make it really easy to get started here. And, this is available on all plans. I think creator plan, team plan, and enterprise plans all come with unlimited video generation. On a free plan, you'll be somewhat constrained to, I believe, 3 minutes of video, which should give you enough to get a taste of what's possible. But when you're ready, you may want to get started on a creator or a team plan. If you want to invite others to collaborate with you, we make it really simple to do just that. So you can do that from within the AI Studio. You can also do that from your homepage of your HeyGen application. So we'll cover more details on that later. The last thing I'll call out actually is we also let you add customized captions to help bring your story to life. So you can add them in here. You can move them around your video. You can remove the watermark if you want to, if you're on a paid plan. So it's really easy to tell your story exactly how you intend to for your audience here. The final thing that I'll actually call out is, within this AI Studio, if I wanted to, I could also translate a scene. So if I wanted to take a scene that I've created in English, translate it to Spanish, we make it really easy to do that just within the HeyGen AI Studio. If you like the translation, you're able to go ahead and hit apply, and you'll see now it's in Spanish if I was to play the exact same scene again. So we make it really flexible to tell your story and give creators a lot of controls to do just that. So we'll let Annie give a quick demo in Spanish, and then we'll jump right over to our translation product.
La narración visual es ahora más accesible que nunca, lo que permite a individuos y empresas transmitir mensajes de manera efectiva.
So it's really as easy as that to tell your story however you like. There's a lot more features we didn't cover right now, but this is hopefully a taste of how to get started with our AI Studio. So the next thing I wanted to touch upon really quickly is, we've talked a little bit about, the public avatars that we have available. Enterprise plans, you can also create a studio avatar, which is on a green screen. So it's a high quality 4K avatar, which you can also create a lot of looks for, like as you can see here in my top row. The hyper realistic avatar, like this one over here, was recorded on 2 minutes of video footage. We give you a lot more flexibility to customize your avatars. You can add new looks as simply as adding more video or photos. You can even, use AI product placement to create an avatar of you in different scenes. Like here's me in a Warriors jersey. I don't actually have one, but I was able to use AI and just a couple of prompts to create a couple of avatar variants that I would be able to use in a basketball video update, for example. So HeyGen is very, very powerful for getting started. Let's say you want to get started in the fastest way possible. I would actually say Avatar 4, which is our latest avatar model, might be the best way to do this. So for Avatar 4, you can basically take a photo, and it's as simple as that to bring it to life. Here I had one example photo that I grabbed from my LinkedIn already. I'm going to use this one over here. And here you can, type in a script. You can also have us surprise you. Let's use this standard one that we have coming up here. And we'll go ahead and generate a video to see how that works. We'll come back to take a look at this one in just a moment. You'll see that it's processing. It takes about a minute or two, depending on the length of the video, for it to render. While that's running, I want to go ahead and show you about our translation product. So the other key area that you can create videos is from translating them. So you can either upload a video you already have or paste in a YouTube link. So here I have one already. I think it's Reed Hastings Stanford commencement speech. You can go ahead and select what language you want to translate this into. So if I wanted to translate it into Portuguese, this is the source language, so you'd want to auto-detect this. Then for the target language, I can select Brazilian Portuguese here. So that's the fastest way to get started. We also give you a couple more advanced controls. If you had a local voice file that you wanted to use, you could also select this to upload that. You can select a brand voice, like we talked about earlier, to make sure certain things are translated a certain way. It's very easy to just select one if you wanted to get started. You can also, translate just the audio with no lip sync, remove any background music, enable captions, or even enhance the voice. So we give you a lot of flexibility depending on what you're trying to do. And you can basically, we'll select a couple of these and hit translate and let that do its magic. So now you can see it's processing for translation. But the other thing that we actually gave you the ability to do is to generate a proofread for your translations. You can either translate it directly like we saw there, or you can generate a proofread. And a proofread really gives you much more precise controls over how and where your video is, saying certain things as it gets translated. You may also find that when you're translating to certain languages, the same sentences may be a different length. So really this gives, creators more precise controls of how they want to edit different scenes. Here, I'll play one for you as just an example.
And best of all, both are safe to watch with your parents this weekend.
So we're
now that we've got the important business over with, let's talk a little.
And we're going to hit
to the video screens and join me in welcoming Reed Hastings.
So you can see this is the original. If I wanted to look at the preview of how this would sound in Spanish, I can actually go through and preview this.
Por estar haciendo esto a distancia. Ya saben, por el COVID. Gracias y bienvenidos a todos los graduados.
So HeyGen makes it really, really easy to get started. If you wanted to change certain pronunciations, you can highlight them, do it right here. You can make any edits here as well. The lip sync will not generate until after you actually hit generate results. So what you're getting right now is basically a preview of the audio. The other thing I think that's really powerful here is, particularly for enterprise plans, we also offer a proofreader marketplace. Or if you want to bring your own proofreaders to help edit this particular scene, let's say you're not fluent in Spanish, you may not understand some of the nuances, or if there are, let's see if there's any error warnings here. This one actually looks like it was translated pretty effectively. So usually you'll see something highlighted in red. So here's one example where this script may be too short for the scene. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can add a couple of pauses. You can add, a different way to say this. So like, let's say instead of Stanford edu, I want to say Universidad. It's as easy as kind of quickly making those edits, and then you can see if it fits the right length. So that's a very easy way that you can use this to make sure that each of your segments and scenes, when you translate it, is exactly how you intend it to be. So that's what I wanted to share on video translation today. You can see here that the Avatar 4 video we created earlier is now ready. This is the fastest way to get started.
In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different.
So that was my photo with just a library voice that we had, but you can see it's very easy to bring your photos to life using the Avatar 4 technology, and it's very, very powerful. So a few final things that I wanted to walk folks through. We also have a library of templates. You can also create and save your own. Here's a few that I've made for some personalized videos. HeyGen lets you send personalized videos, but this would be more by leveraging our templates API. So you'd want to have, a little bit more of a technical background to do this to get started. But once you have a template you really like, we make it really easy to scale this up and even personalize them. So here you can see we can personalize them with someone's name and really dynamically generate these videos at scale. So a few final things that I wanted to call out. So avatars, it's very easy to create a new avatar. even on a free plan, you can do this. You can also create an avatar 4 with just one photo. Custom photo avatars take a couple of photos to create a couple of variant looks, or you can generate an avatar just by prompting. So here we give you, a couple of examples based on, how we've created other avatars in our library. We have, I would say, hundreds of avatars that you can get started with. We give you a couple of different options to sort and filter by, including community submitted avatars, AI generated avatars, lifestyle UGC, professional avatars. So a lot of different ways for you to tell your story when you're just getting started. Finally, I wanted to touch upon, our labs product areas and integrations. So if you're leveraging, a different marketing automation system like MailChimp, you can probably use a tool like Zapier, Clay to kind of get connected to HeyGen to help send out your personalized videos at scale. We also have integrations with Canva, with HubSpot, Make.com, and a lot more that we're still working on producing. So, leave some feedback for the team. Let us know if there's any that would make your life a lot easier. We're always looking to better support our customers in their visual storytelling journeys. So this ecosystem is still growing. Finally, our labs covers a couple of experimental products. The one that I wanted to spend a few moments on today is just our interactive avatar, because we get a lot of popular interest about this one. So at labs.heygen.com, you can find, several of our demo avatars here. And what these let you do is you can have a conversation with them. So let's say we wanted to have a conversation with AI SDR Alec. This is connected to a knowledge base, which you can find over here. And you know what? I'm going to actually ask it a question. Let's do it by chat. Tell me about HeyGen's plans and pricing.
Sure. HeyGen offers a team plan for $89 a month or $69 when billed annually, allowing you to create one custom interactive avatar. If you opt for the enterprise plan, you can make as many as you like, starting with 3 slots for $500 each per additional avatar. For API usage, you can start with a free trial, giving you 100 minutes per month. Interested in any specific plan?
So this is, a really easy way to engage your audiences, in a 24/7 mechanism where you can connect this to a knowledge base. Here's the one for AI SDR that you can see over here. We're using OpenAI for our labs experience one, but you can connect this to any LLM provider that you're using our software development kit and API. So we'll have separate sessions on that. There's an integration guide and GitHub demo that you can check out and clone with your technical team, or you can just test them out, at labs.heygen.com. So we make it really easy to kind of get started and explore more. So with that, I'm going to actually jump over to the Q&A, and I'm happy to answer some questions today. So I'm going to go ahead and start from the very top. Aline is asking, can we record and receive the presentation right after? Yes, we'll publish the recording at community.heygen.com. We will have the replay available on YouTube, so you will be able to take a look at this or see some of our previous recordings, which cover different areas of the platform, at community.heygen.com. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be sending that out shortly. We have a question from Pankaj from OpenText. I was trying to make a video using the transcript, and when I gave the script for the audio generation, that voice sounded different from what I have recorded. Pankaj, I would say it depends. You bring in, what I recommend for the best quality voices that I see from some of our customers. They often use 11 Labs Pro already. You can bring in an 11 Labs Pro voice from our AI Voices tab. Those tend to be some of the highest quality ones that I've seen. We have a question I would say, Pankaj, from the AI Voices tab, if you were to integrate a third-party voice, we make it really simple to paste your API key for 11 Labs here and pull in any of your custom voices that you may already have. Otherwise, I would say, you can also create a new voice, generate one from a prompt, or clone it. But sometimes if you want just the most lifelike output, I've seen a lot of folks will bring their 11 Labs Pro voice and use that with HeyGen's video creation technology. Next question is from Joseph. Translation. How accurate is the translation? I know from experience with Google Translate, even some AI platforms like ChatGPT, there are still poor translations that occur rather frequently. Joseph, I'd say, from talking to different customers, it may depend on what language you're translating into. Different LLMs will have different levels of accuracy, and then it also depends on, you know, the subtext, like how nuanced is what you're translating, or how similar are the phrases to what would be getting translated over. If they're highly technical, highly unique, you may want to use proofreading or set up a brand voice to make sure that it translates more effectively at scale. It may take a little bit of testing out, but I'd say generally what I've found from talking to customers is, for languages like Spanish, German, French, they find that it's, more than 90% accurate. For that last mile of fine tuning, until you maybe have your brand voice set up with all the permutations that you want to force translation, or, have more nuanced translations for, you may still want some proofreading there to do that last mile. So I hope that is helpful. And Doug actually chimed in, sent a message to French friends, and they said the translation was perfect, like me speaking French better than English, and I don't speak French. So that's kind of exactly some of the magic of HeyGen that I've also experienced, particularly when translating to Hindi and sending to some family members. It's much better than anything that I would be able to do offhand. Next question's from Vineet. What do we need to add 3 avatars on a single screen? So Vineet, right now, we can only support 1 avatar per scene. That said, we're going to be making some updates in the next couple of weeks here, so just stay tuned. I would say check out our keynote on June 3rd. If you haven't registered already, you can do so from community.heygen.com. Right now, it's 1 per scene, but I would say, that may be changing soon. And then Aline has an example of interactive avatar reached out to a knowledge center responding to a specific question. So Aline, I think that would be maybe an example of the interactive avatar demo that I was showing earlier. Really, these are super customizable. You can bring your own knowledge base, connect it to your own LLM provider. Really what HeyGen's doing there is providing kind of that interactive two-way video layer. So the team is really focused on reducing the latency, improving the stability of that underlying video technology. But it's, a really exciting solution that we're starting to see more and more use cases come out for. And then another question, can we have interactive avatars free just to show it? Yes, so you'll be able to leverage it for free from labs.heygen.com. However, since it is an API product, if you were to embed it on your website or start to use it in production, we would need you to have an API plan, because there's basically a credit cost per minute streaming. So to test it out, you can do so at labs.heygen.com, but when you're more serious about getting involved, you can sign up for a pro or a scale API plan and start to get some more experience with it in different application settings. Next question from Nidhi, how is the tool for creating an AI sales representative answering some of the key questions? So Nidhi, I think that's kind of related to Alien's one. It'll kind of depend on a little bit of your testing with your knowledge base. Once you have high confidence in it, you can deploy it in different scenarios. You may just want to be considerate to kind of that streaming cost, if you will. So it depends on how many sessions that you're planning to have, how you plan to leverage this really at scale, and then really the knowledge base is on you to create. Once you've created a knowledge base, you can test it out at labs.heygen.com and then start out with a pro or scale self-serve API plan until you really have a better sense of, what's the volume of needs and how you want to scale it up from there. So I hope that's helpful. We have more resources available at docs.heygen.com for getting started with the interactive avatar in particular. And then another question from Steve. How do I find all of the languages and dialects? I played around the translation and only saw about 50 languages and no dialects. Steve, let me follow up with you there. In our community, we have resources that should list out the 170 different languages and locales that HeyGen supports. So if we need help finding a specific one for you, we can follow up with you, or you can check at contact@heygen.com and reach out to our support team. They're usually very responsive and can also share with you the latest list that we support. So I think that covers most of the questions. Thank you, everyone. I know we're a couple of minutes over time, but really, really excited to be able to showcase for you what HeyGen's been up to and answer some of your questions. You can check out, more customer stories at heygen.com. You can find them /heygen.com/customer stories. And We also cover a lot more use cases that folks use. If you go to heygen.com/use cases, you can learn more about the different ways that folks are leveraging HeyGen to support and grow their businesses. And finally, I'll end it on, be sure to check out our community. It has more in-depth resources. You can join, more relevant groups to you. If you're in marketing, for example, we have a group. We have an agency group as well. The final thing that I'll actually call out is, our agencies actually tend to produce some of the best output videos from HeyGen's platform. So if you go to heygen.com/agencies, you can see some of the example videos that our agency members are creating using HeyGen's technology. So highly recommend checking this out to see, how they're pushing the platform to its limits. But we support a lot of different businesses and creators and are excited to help support their growing needs with our platform. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope to